got to know each other as friends because we had a similar taste in electro music when we were in our teens, and I guess our tastes have remained relatively similar. We also use similar equipment, and so all of these things, I think, combine to hopefully have a coherent sound as a band, as opposed to a compilation of two people's work.
We were both quite into early hip-hop culture and breakdancing. It was the early kind of forms of electronic dance music, really, which was electro, and as Andy said, that seeped into Detroit techno and Chicago house, and then sort of all the various other types of music.
We often joke that between the two of us we make one kind of functional human being, but we, I guess we've known each other since we were sort of 10 or 11, and you tend to, it's basically your environment that influences your output to a large degree. We listen to quite a broad array of music these days, and it all kind of it all comes in and goes back out again somehow. I think the advantage to working with somebody else, even though often the writing process can be quite solitary, is the fact that but you can tend to be a little overindulgent if it's just you, and having somebody else around who's sort of got a slightly more remote perspective on what's going on, because sometimes when you're really in it, you can spend a night sort of shaping a hi-hat or something, and it really ultimately isn't making a big difference to the overall picture. And so having somebody else around that you can play ideas to and get some feedback and maybe identify things that are just not necessary or not working, it's quite healthy.
You have this sort of idea of doing something that's very minimal and very filtered and refined.
It's always trying to, I think that we had everything that's there should have a purpose. There should be, like no unnecessary kind of fat, basically. So it's just the concise idea, and just trying to make the sounds as interesting and rich as possible, and and to have them develop.
When you first start writing, you just kind of chuck everything in, unless you're sort of really sophisticated to start with, because it just sounds great, just hearing all these layers, and also you're the creator, so you just kind of keep adding layers and layers. I think with time, and maybe even to do with age, you kind of want less. You want to do more with less, really. Well, I certainly enjoy, creating harmonic layers. So I enjoy creating kind of interweaving melodies and things like that. That's very pleasurable because you can just go into a good space and your imagination can run wild and you can waste hours doing that. So I really enjoy that. Whether I'm good at it, I'm not convinced yet, but maybe.
Yeah, you're pretty good.
Sometimes I make something really happy with. That's certainly the thing I enjoy the most.
The rhythmic component, I suppose I would. I enjoy messing around with kind of rhythms and layering different rhythms, so you get some kind of interplay. And I'll take rhythm.
Like the idea of those old songwriters that would write songs for other people to sing, and if there was an equivalent with electronic music where we could pay some young people to go out and play and represent us, because that would probably be unacceptable. Even with a regular band, there's a lot of that. There's going away and working on your riff. There is a lot of alone time, I think, in any musical sort of group. Because you need to reflect and you need to practice and experiment, and those are only things you can really do by yourself at a certain point. Difficult to put yourself in the position of the audience as to why people are still following us. We continue to write music that we really like, and we hope that if we like it, then other people will like it. That's basically our plan. And I suppose not becoming too related to fashions and movements in music, although we kind of started from one which was this development of techno really that happened in the UK. I think since then, although we kind of take parts of new music that we like, we don't generally conform to a scene or a style. That helps us just carry on because we do what we feel like doing, and we also don't have to try and reinvent ourselves each time we do an album, which I know some artists do, and I respect them for it, but I think our progression is quite subtle, which annoys some people, but I think that gives it some longevity because it's a very slow. We're kind of like tortoises. neither of us have really ever been satisfied with what we've made completely, and obviously that's an unobtainable thing, really, to be completely content and satisfied with what you've made. But you still keep wanting to do it, and that means trying to learn more, trying to not repeat yourself too much, trying to do things in different ways, and just be excited and stimulated by it. I think that's the sort of simple reason to carry on.
Go along with that, yeah. Just to write some really good music. Or hopefully continue writing some good music, just to get better at what we do.